This week on Barbell Shrugged, we talk about getting bigger and stronger so you can go from this to this. Go for it. Let's do it. Why isn't those things run like they did before? Oh, they are now. Okay.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. What is...
What's up?
Yeah.
Mike Bledsoe here. Oh, yeah, this is Barbell Shrugged.
Oh, fuck.
Wait, which podcast is this? Oh, wait, we only have one podcast.
Yeah.
I'm here with Chris Moore, Doug Larson. I know we haven't had...
We're keeping that intro. We're not starting over.
Yeah, we should. I don't know.
We'll just keep going.
Keep
that sounds
going.
good. Sounds good.
Yeah,
we did good.
We'll get over it. This will be the first episode in the last few where we didn't have a guest. So we've decided for it to be just the three of us, and we're going to crush some content here. So
We're keeping it intimate between
right.
bros. We're drinking a bulletproof coffee. We have an intimate conversation. We're sharing our knowledge.
stick around for the CTP CAM if you want to see how we made our bulletproof coffee.
We're going to play tummy sticks later during the show.
Oh, my God.
Google that if you don't know what it is. We're not going to explain it.
Tummy sticks. Pole to pole action. Sweet. Not
Here,
gay at
give a
all.
quick rundown on what the bulletproof coffee is.
The bulletproof coffee. Oh, yeah. So been seeing a little bit of this on Twitter. I gave out a quick recipe suggestion yesterday on the Twitters. And basically all it is a good high-quality coffee. You have to French press it, of course. Then you're going to add 1 tablespoon of grass-fed butter and 1 tablespoon of coconut oil per cup of coffee.
So it's quite a bit of fat.
Put it in a blender.
That's 28 grams of fat per cup.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
They
It's
make
a
you
good,
huge.
good amount of calories. Well, and it's all medium chain triglycerides, which actually assists
You left out a key-
in burning fat.
You left out a
half
key.
of it.
You left out a key step. You make the coffee a very strong version of the
You
coffee.
make a strong version of the coffee, put it in a blender, then you drop in the butter and the coconut oil and some cinnamon, blend it, make sure it emulsifies nice. It'll make your coffee nice and creamy. It'll
like a
taste.
latte.
It is very creamy. It's
It'll
delicious.
be a new version of coffee you've never tasted
If you ever
before.
had a breve latte, which is a latte made of steamed half and half in coffee, it's kind of like that vibe. It's super rich, super decadent, like a dessert. I would say one key tip: that little plastic thing on your blender, crack that thing open and cover it with a hand towel. Because if you got hot coffee in an enclosed space and you hit that blender, it's going to explode all over your face. And that's probably on the short list of things you don't want to happen. It's right near the top. So don't do that. Be smart.
All right, so
That's awesome.
Today's podcast is going to be brought to you by our weight gain program. So one of the things that we talked about a few episodes ago, Chris and I did a terrible episode about.
It wasn't fucking terrible. It was a bro challenge thing. We were just hanging out. We were just spitting out ideas. We were sharing our knowledge.
No, it wasn't terrible. It was fun. No, but we talked about putting together a weight gain program. We got a lot of feedback from that. A lot of people want to do it. So we're going to post something up on the website where you can sign up for that. We do not have a name for it yet. A lot of people have thrown out a lot of suggestions, but nothing that really, sparks with any of us. Doug, you were talking about.
You guys. No, they were good. But we got to find that zingy phrase.
Yeah, the zingy phrase. I don't know. Nothing that just seemed like it was good to stick. Doug, You're going to put something up where people can sign up. What's that going to look like?
Yeah, by the time this episode comes out, there should be a picture on the sidebar, which is the right side of the screen, basically on the computer.
Of the video?
There'll probably be like a little bit of text kind of says like, if you want more information about this weight gain program, click here, and then basically we'll put you on the list. And one of the first things you'll get as being on that list will be a survey, kind of asking you exactly what you want to get out of this program. So, we're still piecing together the program. For the most part, we know what it'll be, but we'd like to get as much feedback as possible. That way we can tweak it and modify it and make it exactly what you want it to be. So it's not set in stone quite yet.
It's going to be perfect.
As
It's
of right,
easier to make it perfect if we get a lot of feedback.
Yeah,
so,
we wanna
so sign up for that list and
gonna be
tell us what you want
tailored-
it to be, and we can tweak
Tailored
it.
just for you.
yeah, perfect means it's gonna be tailored to the people who are a part of it. Perfect for me is not perfect for somebody else. So
Yeah,
we
it's
need
easy for us to project what other people want, but if you just tell us what you want, then we can make it exactly what you want.
we need your feedback. So oh yeah, what for? I'm gonna make an announcement real quick.
You got an announcement to make?
This
Have you ever
bulletproof-
told that story on this show? We don't need to go into it right now, but that's an inside joke for everyone who doesn't know what we're
I've
talking
got an
about.
announcement to make. I have decided, because we're going to be talking about gaining weight, and I actually was not thinking about gaining weight this year. Well, I'd say about every other year, I make a big swing in weight, and I get real heavy, and then I lean back out. I do it about once every 2 years. I was not going to do it this year because I've been competing in weightlifting, and I was going to go to the nationals, which was supposed to be the first weekend of August. And so I was going to have to stay in the 77 kilo weight class. So I didn't have any time to gain weight. I was just going to have to hang out where I was at.
It's a good strategy.
Yes. But USAW decided to move nationals up a week, or a little bit, 1 week sooner, which is the same weekend as Doug's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So now I will not be attending nationals, which actually, I wasn't that heartbroken over it. Not that big of a deal, because now I'll just prep for the American Open. Now, what I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to move up a weight class.
Oh God.
So moving up a weight class means that I need to be, the weight class is about 18 pounds heavier than the weight class I've been competing in. It's 85 kilos. But in order to be competitive as an 85 kilo weightlifter, you obviously have to make a big swing up.
You got to kind of come down to get into the 85 kilo.
Right.
You don't want to be like sitting there every day in that zone.
Right.
So that's 187 pounds, and right now you're in
173.
170. So, yeah,
I'm
okay.
173 right now.
Like a little
That
baby.
means I need to walk around. If I'm going to be competitive at 187 pounds, I need to walk around 192. But if I want to be a relatively lean 192, I probably need to get up to about 205 pounds and then lean out from there. So the goal is to
30 pounds basically.
is to put on 30 pounds by August 1.
Jeez.
And then I'm going to lean back out, and then I'm hoping that that's going to put me in a really good spot to be more competitive at the American Open come December.
So you want to walk hand in hand with the Shrugged Nation as they as well venture down this path of hugeness.
That is correct.
You're going to join them. You're going to be right there with them.
Yeah.
So the goal for the 6-month program is 26 pounds in 26 weeks.
Right.
It's a 6-month program, and you're trying to go faster than that.
I'm going to go 30 pounds in 4 months. So 30
Just
pounds.
a show can be done.
30 pounds in 16 weeks. That's 2 pounds a week, really. And then I'm going to, and the importance here is that I'm gaining the weight with performance in mind. I'm going to get faster and stronger. So I'm going to gain the weight. I'm going to overshoot where I really need to be. And this is something that I think we need to address in regard to the weight gain program we're going to do is, okay, you may need to be 190 pounds, which means you need to get up to about 205 if you want 190 high quality pounds. So I'm going to overshoot. I'm going to go 205 when I really need to be, 190, 192. And then I'm going to lean back out from 205.
This is a
So basically, the rest of the episode, we're going to talk about how you're going to do that.
How I'll do it, and then how you guys can do it too. So keep in mind, this is a long-term plan. It is now April. What is it? What month is
What month
this?
is this?
dummy.
March.
March. It is bulletproof coffee, bro.
Oh,
It has
God.
got me fired up.
Makes you feel good, but not any smarter.
But you can't
Not-
remember what month it is.
That's right.
Who needs months and time when you got bulletproof coffee? Come on now.
I got energy.
Energy. All right, so it's March.
Yeah.
I am doing this with the intent to be better at something in December. I think all too often people set goals where they're like, oh, I got to do this in 2 or 3 months from now. It's good to have short-term goals so that you can knock them out and move towards, where you need to be.
I agree that the point you're making is really important.
I'm gonna change the point now just to screw with you. No,
I can't be screwed with. I'm so fucking malleable. I'm like a ball taffy.
So
You
I'm
just
gonna
pull
set-
me any which way in your warm hands, and I just go there.
I'm gonna set goals. A month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now. But the real goal is that come December, I'm gonna be more competitive at as an athlete. And so I'm not going to get hung up on things that are 2 months out. If I lose my six pack in 4 months, I'm not going to sit and cry about it. Because I know
men don't cry over their abs.
I know that by December, my abs will be way better than they are now.
Way sexier.
I think way more Ripley, veiny,
You gotta post those profile pictures to Facebook where you're standing sideways with your belly hanging out like the girls do, and to say like week 12 of Mike getting fat,
before and after,
like your pregnancy picture.
Well, I like your goal. Sounds perfect because I'm going through.
What have I ever done that's not perfect? First off,
how much time do we have? No, I was gonna say I'm going through this project I'm working on, and one of the key things I think in setting a really good goal, no matter what it is that the primary goal is just out of reach, and it's a little bit bigger than you can tackle now. So 30-pound weight goal at your size is a really tough one. So it's not easy to attain, and it's not out of the realm of possibility, and it's just so far out that you got time to sort of work backwards and come up with manageable chunks. So yeah, 30 pounds by X date is a lot to put on. And if you think about that, you start going, well, I don't know if I can do it. And now you're starting to lose your momentum. But if you go, okay, this week, I've got to put all my focus on just gaining a fraction of that. And doing it this way every day, I'll consume these things. And every day, I'll just focus on this one little step I take. So I think it sounds dead on perfect.
Yeah. And one thing, too, is if you want to gain, I just kind of did the math real quick. It's 16 weeks. I got to do 2 pounds a week. But in reality, I'll probably put on like close to a pound a day or a pound every other day for the first like 10 to 15 days. And then after that, it's going to become a real grind.
Yeah. Then the second thing about a goal is that because your life is so complicated at times, because there's all these variables spinning around your life that you can't really control, you have to sort of tinker as you step through it. So the plan now will get you going, and the first part will be easy, but you're going to have to sort of take the things you're learning and the challenges you're coming up against and continually tweak them in order to keep marching towards the goal. So as the progress slows, you have to sort of recalibrate and reestablish the key things you need to do in order to keep the progress going.
Exactly.
Because then you see, okay, now I have half as much time to get there. I've got this much more time to make up. These things are working. These things are not. So the plan has to change.
Yeah. So Doug, why is it you think we're talking about CrossFitters gaining weight too? Why you always make a really good point about being bigger and stronger as a CrossFitter. Can you tell everybody like why you think people should be getting bigger and stronger as CrossFitters?
I totally can't hear that. Let's finish up the point about the weight gain program. Just kind of give a few more of the specifics on when it's going to start and how it's going to work, and then we'll kind of dig into the rest of the episode, which is where you were leading into.
Good idea.
So we're trying to do 26 pounds in 26 weeks. It's going to be a 6-month program, and we're going to start Monday, April 8th, right? Yeah, Monday, April 8th. So that's right after the Open, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the Monday after the Open ends. So, Yeah, the idea there is that people aren't going to be thinking, oh, I don't want to do this weight gain program. I don't want to start that right during the Open. Yeah, that's probably not the best time to try to put on, max poundage is right in the middle of a 5-week competition.
Right. Okay, so it'll start Monday after the Open. It's going to be a heavy weightlifting focus. But primarily, we're looking to gain muscle mass.
To be getting bigger, faster, and stronger. This isn't just about getting fat.
Right.
BFS.
So there'll be plenty of power lifts, that type of thing. But really, we're focusing on getting bigger and stronger to improve your Olympic lifts and ultimately to improve your CrossFit ability. But we're gonna have just enough conditioning to where you don't lose your CrossFitness, as you like to say. But that won't be the emphasis of the program. So mostly it'll be strength training and then a little bit of metconning and intervals here and there just to make sure that you don't lose the fitness that you already have.
Yeah, there'll be some conditioning in there. And then we'll also be working in some gymnastic skills. So you don't have to worry like, hey, if I put on 26 pounds, am I going to still be able to do a muscle up? We're going to try and make sure that you maintain that muscle up. And maybe even if you don't have your muscle up yet, might be a good opportunity. You may be gaining weight and you might actually get your muscle up while you're doing this because you will be getting stronger.
Because you'll become significantly more awesome than you currently are.
I mean, if you do any of the programming that we put together, of course, you're going to become a better human being.
We happen to know what the fuck we're talking about. In case we're not, let's get on the same page here. We are so smart at this shit. It's scary to us. Like I sit and think, I got so many ideas, man. Damn, it makes my spine chill and curl. I feel like it's my responsibility to get it out. Because if I die, I take all this awesome stuff with me. That's not fair to
And
humanity.
that's right. That's why you're writing a book right now.
I am writing a book. It's going to be like 20,000 words of me ranting about things I think are important. So you'll love it.
Perfect.
I don't know what 20,000 words means.
Me
but
neither. I
okay.
have no idea how long
It's going to
it is.
be
So,
long enough to where it's
It's
a
going to be
book.
longer than 5 pages.
Yeah. So you don't
Ooh.
you don't read books, so
Tough
that's
to
going to
get
be
through.
tough for you.
That's true.
Okay, so digging back into the question that you were about to ask me, or that you did ask
Yeah,
me rather.
well, why do people want to gain weight? Like, why is it going to be a beneficial thing?
So the point that I usually make on that I've brought up on the show before is that if you're training for strength, then heavyweight turns into moderate weight, and then moderate weight turns into lightweight, and if a weight is lighter, then it's simply just less fatiguing at that same weight. So if you have a 135 pound max overhead press or max thruster, and you have to do 95 pound thrusters for 45 reps, that's pretty heavy relative to your max. But if you can easily thruster 275, then doing thrusters with 95 pounds is a joke, and you can easily do 45 reps unbroken, as an example.
Actually, this past week with the Open, 13.1, perfect example of that. If you could get one single rep at, say, 165 pounds or 210 pounds on the snatch, if you're a guy, and for the ladies, I want to say it was 100 pounds and then 120 pounds. If you could get just one lift at that poundage, you're going to create a big separation. And I know that I witnessed a lot of people in our own facility watching Facebook and Twitter. A lot of people got stuck at that weight, and the competitive CrossFitters, they're going to be able to pick up that 120 pounds or 210 pounds and just snatch it.
It separates the men from the boys, so to speak.
Yeah, if you're looking at like moderately heavy weights, if you're looking at 225 on a bench press, and I can bench press 400 pounds, and you can bench press 250, then with 225 pounds, I have better endurance because I can do it, say 12 or 15 times, and you can only do it 2. And it's really not endurance at that point, not true endurance. But what happens is I can simply just do more repetitions than you can, just because it's a lesser percentage of my max. So getting your max as high as possible is usually step one. It's not until something's below about 40% of your max where you actually need to train for true muscular endurance at that point, which means taking that weight and doing repetitions repeatedly to try to improve your muscular endurance. Until it's below 40% of your max, the answer is just to get stronger first, and then you can do more reps with it.
And you could argue with that, but you'd be wrong, because the shit we're talking is physics. Argue all you want. You can go be weak in the corner.
And that's also an argument for maybe not individualized programming, but programming that prescribes percentages for conditioning versus just prescribed weight. Because if your max front squat is only like 175 pounds, 95 pound thruster, I mean, that's in the range of like strength work, in my opinion, and you're doing a ton of reps. You need to probably do a better job of separating that strength in your conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not doing that if you're the weight you're trying to use when you're doing conditioning is 70% of your 1 rep max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lack of strength is the number one reason that people have to scale their workouts. Like if you're just not strong enough to do a muscle up, it doesn't matter if you have good technique or bad technique. You just need to get stronger. Then all of a sudden a muscle up's not that big of a deal. Like everyone I know that comes in really strong can just hop up and do a muscle up their very first time. Even if it looks kind of ugly, they can still do it. And then the fact that they can do it with bad technique, now all you have to do is just make sure they have adequate mobility and give them a little bit of instruction. And then a couple days later, they got it down, as long as their mobility is not really bad.
Into it there.
Yeah, but if someone doesn't have the requisite strength to do a muscle up almost no matter what, well, it doesn't matter if you teach them technique, or it doesn't matter if you cue them and coach them and they know how to do it, or they're putting effort into it. They just need to get stronger. And until they get stronger, there's just nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, it seems like there's the key thing is that there's this ratio of your strength and your movement efficiency, your technique. like Pendley says when it comes to Olympic lifts. People argue what's more important, strength or technique? Well, obviously it's an optimal blend of both. And you work them both really hard all the time. And a thing you are less good at, you have to put a little bit added emphasis on. So it's just a common sense approach. You know what I'm saying? Spitting wisdom.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think most of our viewers, if they watch this show routinely, they kind of accept that getting bigger and getting stronger is something that needs to happen in the CrossFit world, and the whole CrossFit world is kind of moving that direction anyhow. So let's kick on to the kind of the different methods that people use to get bigger and kind of the different programs they use and kind of the pros and cons of each. So people that come out of weightlifting or powerlifting or bodybuilding, they all kind of have a different philosophy as far as how to train and what works for gaining size and what works for getting stronger. Powerlifters tend to have the really heavy kind of grinding reps, and it's all low rep ranges, doubles and singles. A lot of good mornings, and that's kind of like their style in a lot of cases. Weightlifters have a very similar approach where they're doing doubles and singles, but they tend to do faster, the quick lifts, the Olympic lifts.
I guess the volume's higher.
Yeah, they do a lot more. Yeah, the volume, especially at a high percentage of their max, tends to be a lot higher. They do a lot more 95%, almost on a daily basis in some cases, and that works well for them. And then the bodybuilders have more of a moderate weight, 60 or 70% of their max, for sets of 8 to 12, and that's kind of like the hypertrophy rep ranges, and they get bigger and stronger like that. And so there's all these different methods, and they all work, but they all kind of work in a slightly different way. So in the CrossFit world, it's kind of confusing because you have all these different philosophies coming into like this one single sport, and new people just don't know what to do. Right. So coming out of the powerlifting world and coming out of the weightlifting world, what have you done in the past that's worked for you as far as putting on muscle mass? Like very specific, like sets and reps and exercises and all that.
Yeah, obviously, I think that the most important things are sort of the big three in powerlifting. I mean, if you look at squats, deadlifts, and presses, you're getting their high force, their high load activities, which is already a good thing. Load ranges, yeah, I mean, I guess the money is heavy sets of 5, I guess. 'Cause that's
when you say high force,
the load is really high.
Maybe we should talk about like what the difference between a high power, high force movement is, and what the differentiating factor is between.
So powerlifting's a very high force sport where the barbell weight's heavy. At the competitive ranges, it moves at a grind. So compared to a weightlifting max, a powerlifting match, the load is higher. The speed at which it's moving is slower, so the power component is reduced.
So
good or bad doesn't matter. It's just different.
If you add more weight to the bar, it's gonna be more of a high force movement.
Yeah, high force. Like weightlifters, I guess, get into that when they do really heavy pulls and stuff. But it's a different. Weightlifting and powerlifting are like, it's like water polo and swimming. It's like the water is in common, but the actual dynamics of the sport are really, really different. They're just not really comparable for some very obvious. And that's the biggest thing, is that the physics around the sport are just really different. But yeah, and so my view, the thing that's always going to help you put on weight is like heavy sets of 5, where you're lowering the bar controlled and you're coming up as fast as possible and you're really having to work really hard. That's always going to work. And I also really like higher volume riffs on the power lifts, where you can inject frequency, you can do more sessions per week at lower percentages, or you can do things like I advocate, like in a deadlift or squat. You can do lots and lots of sets of a little bit less reps at a slightly lower load, but do it more. So like my favorite thing is speed squats, speed presses, and speed deadlifts for like 8 to 15 sets of 2 to 3 reps. The weight's like 70, 75%. Something that
like every minute on the minute.
Yeah, every minute on the minute. It's like a higher pace. You get more work in. Like if you count up all the weight you lift during a set of like 10 sets of 3 speed pulls, every rep is zingy and fast, but the overall load you're doing like many thousands of pounds of load. So that over time, doing all that work is going to really be advantageous to you. I guess the second component of powerlifting training, which helps you add mass, is the bodybuilding influence with assistance work. So if you do 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 10 reps, with that kind of like that generic assistance work prescription on things like,
it's generic, but it works.
It does.
Yeah.
So things like barbell rows, like you can do isolation movements. I tend to do it on things. The older I get, the more I see like, a snatch grip deadlift, rack pulls, barbell rows or pin lay rows, my favorite, dumbbell pressing, good mornings, these big multi-joint movements that are close variants and they make up segments of the competitive lifts, but you do those for more reps at a little bit lighter load. Those two things are really empowering what give you size. That's the approach. And it works. There's some really huge powerlifters. I think that the bodybuilding angle is just the assistance work basically for generic prescriptions, but they're missing a lot of the high force components, what I think makes it not as quite as effective for the common guy.
What are some good examples of assistance movements that CrossFitters don't typically do that they could probably benefit from?
I think barbell row is one of the big ones.
Barbell
You
rows.
agree with that? Like, there's not a whole lot of rowing and
We-
heavy rowing.
We do a
in
lot of that at our
CrossFit.
gym. Mike programs a lot of barbell rows because
Yeah.
he really likes them, and I think that's a great thing. I think you're totally spot on. There is not enough horizontal pulling in CrossFit. There's rowing like on a rower. There's light,
Yeah.
which is very light. There's ring rows for people that don't do pull-ups, but a lot of times high level CrossFitters don't do a lot of that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
So doing more horizontal pulling is a great idea.
I'm
What
confused
else?
on why we don't see that on CrossFit.com.
The good thing about a barbell
know.
row is that it also has a high carryover to deadlifts and clean pulls. So you can practice the exact position you'll be in for your clean.
Yeah.
You can work that initial. You can practice getting your knees scooped back so the bar can travel straight up and you move around the bar. You can practice all those initial movements, back posture, and you're also training something, and it has direct carryover to making you better in the other lifts. That's what assistance work should be. It shouldn't be like compared to like a bodybuilder may choose like a lat pull down or like a chest support or row, which definitely can help you gain mass in the back, but it's only building mass versus a pin lay row or a well executed barbell row is heavy and it's done just like you would do a deadlift or a clean pull. That's what makes it a good assistance exercise that adds size, but also spills over into performance. That's what a bodybuilder and most powerlifters sometimes lose sight of, is that your assistance work should be a variant and a builder of what you're going to test yourself in. So
Well,
you
I mean, I hate to use the word, but functional movement.
fuck you.
Uh,
How dare you speak this? Yeah,
It is,
yeah,
though.
it is.
Functional has, become a very cliched, thrown around term.
Yeah, you got to
with-
keep
with Bosu balls and all that bullshit. But
Dear-
like you
Yeah.
have to think like functional movement is the joints are moving in a manner they're meant to move in a very natural way, and that's kind of what you're describing with the assistance work. Is this is move the way the joints are supposed to move. Don't isolate them with a machine and try to like get the muscle
Yeah.
to contract in a way that's never going to happen in a real life scenario.
everything can have its place. Like, I will spill the beans and tell the Shrugged Nation that you have been spotted doing knee extensions
Yes.
in the wild. But you gotta
In
be
the
able to
wild.
answer. But there's no such thing as an exercise that's bad. You gotta say
I
you gotta
think-
have an answer.
I feel like I need to
No, I'm gonna say
I need to
qualify why.
Yeah.
Like, so you were saying, look, I'm here. I got it was a joint stiffness and just a warm up you were doing it for.
No, I mean I had to do knee extensions a few weeks ago because I had a jacked up hamstring. My
Yeah.
hamstring just stopped
So you
functioning.
so here's the thing. You had
So
a
I had
very
to, like-
specific answer for why you were doing this thing.
Yeah, I wanted to get like some kind of leg work in. I wasn't able to squat. I wasn't able to pull off the floor. So I was like, man, I need to do something to get, put something weight on my legs, even if it's just my quads.
Yeah,
in
and it could have
very
been a
unnatural
short
way.
term potentiating thing that kind of restored balance and helped your hamstring sort of loosen up. Whatever it is, but you had a very specific reason. So if your reason for picking an exercise is I want to get huge, okay, not bad. But if that's your only answer, then you're not really taking a close enough view of why. So if it's I can gain weight, I can do a lot of load in this exercise, good. I will gain mass, good. It's also an analog or a variant of the thing I want to get better at. Then if you have 2 or 3 answers for why, then you got a good exercise. Like you go, okay, I need to gain weight in the chest, gain mass. Okay, I'll do flies. Okay, what else? Is that going to help you jerk better? Probably not. Okay, well, is there something you can do that's maybe a better choice? Could you do like steep incline presses or something that maybe has a little carryover to the other thing? So while you're getting big, you're also getting better. Oh, I didn't think of that. So you got to answer the question from a few different ways before you can really drill down and know what you're doing is a good idea. If you're not prepared to answer the question, like if you can't come up with an answer, that's an answer in and of itself. Like, I can't really think of a good reason, so there's your answer.
I do like dumbbell pressing. I don't see that in CrossFit very often. There's nothing wrong with just doing a standing overhead dumbbell press.
People
We do
seem to
barbell
think-
press all the time. We do kettlebell stuff, but CrossFit doesn't like dumbbells that much.
Well, that's what's
for some
stupid
reason.
because kettlebells. The reason why I don't like kettlebells is there's a mystique because they're fucking Russian and they have a handle that there's something magical about. But it's just a weight with a handle, and that's what a dumbbell is. Like for me, doing overhead stuff with a dumbbell, like dumbbell snatches, is way better than a kettlebell. Kettlebells are kind of stupid when you're not swinging them. You can do Turkish, Turkish get-ups with a dumbbell are just as good, right? Maybe don't bruise the back of your forearm and.
Yeah, there's just one more way to load yourself. It's just
Yeah,
a
but
tool like anything else.
what's so unfunctional about? Look, okay, CrossFitters, take a pair of 50-pound dumbbells, clean them, and do standing overhead press with them. You're gonna have a pretty good all-around core workout. It's gonna be hard as shit.
Dumbbells, sandbags,
It's just they're just implements. There's nothing right or wrong about anything.
So for people that have different levels of experience, a different training age is what we usually call it. Like how do the different rep ranges influence their ability to gain strength and gain muscle mass. Like someone who has 1 year of experience lifting weights versus 5 versus 10. What do they? How do they want to alter their training?
I'm intimately familiar with this because I'm only 32, but my training age in dog years is like 85. Can anybody else identify with this shit? Like I've been struggling with the shoulder pain and stuff, and I've got it.
I think
I'm
all
on top
three
of
of
it
us
again.
can at least.
Yeah, but I think the thing that changes when you're starting out, just the barbell is so perfect. Like if you do heavy sets of 5 or even 10 reps of barbell exercise, you're just going to just make astronomical gains. You're going to feel like a lion. Nothing can stop you.
Mm-hmm.
But then the hallmark of why periodization is necessary is because the hallmark of training experience, as you get more and more reps with the barbell, more experience, progress slows, you need more variation. And that turns into the need for lifting heavy always, of course.
So beginners don't need very much variation.
You don't need almost any variation.
And more advanced people need a lot more variation.
Yeah, it's like a
so hold on,
inverse relationship.
Let's dig into that a little bit more. So not very much variation means that a beginner can stay on a cycle for like 8 weeks and still make progress.
Yep.
Just add a little more weight to the bar every week. If you're doing 5x5 squats, you can do 5x5 for 8 weeks in a row. Add 5 pounds each week.
Every week, yeah.
And you PR every week, and you get better. And advanced people can't do that.
And you don't change it until progress slows. So if you can just add weight every week for 5 months in a row, do it until you can't do it anymore. Pick all the low-hanging fruit. We talk about that in simple strength. That if you try to interject something fancy you saw another lifter doing, you're going to sabotage your progress.
Right.
All you need to do are these dead simple things.
Mm-hmm. So after you have a few years of experience under your belt, maybe an 8-week program is too long, and you plateau before you get to the end of that program. So maybe you can only do like a 4-week program, and then you gotta switch it up.
Yeah,
that's a good.
You start spreading out you got to spread out the time you add weight. So instead of every week, maybe it's every other week. That becomes ramping up over the course of a month to try to add a couple pounds at the very end. And of course, the individual sessions may get more intense, but there's got to be more rest and there's got to be more mixed methods in there. I think one thing that comes along with this is as you get older, you can't just do all the barbell work. Like I think, like for CrossFitters, this maybe even have some direct carryover. As you get more and more experienced, things like strategically selected assistance exercises that can help build the things that you're going to perform in, like people always think that maybe variants of the exercise aren't as useful, but the bottom line is as you get older, you can't grind on the barbell all the time because it's going to fucking eat you alive. Shoulder tendonitis.
It's going to give you joint pain.
You're going to have more and more joint pain. You're going to have issues getting the full range of motion. Like if you bench for eons, like overhead press and jerk, your shoulder's going to start giving out on you. So you have to start mixing things and taking the full range of motion out and having little things that build each segment. That becomes more and more common as you get older.
Right. You
have to take that approach. That and doing small exercises for lots of reps is just going to make you feel good.
It can't just go heavy all the time for years on end. After a couple of years or a decade, it starts to wear on you. You got to start doing more assistance work, or your elbows and your shoulders are going to start getting pretty achy. Yeah, we've all kind of gone through that. So the more advanced people, I guess the easiest example is kind of the conjugate system, and a lot of powerlifters, at least in the United States, they cycle different movements every week or two. They might do a good morning with chains one week with a straight bar, and then the next week they do a giant cambered bar, and they're doing box squats. Like they change the movement every single week, and that variation actually helps them get progress. But beginners, that's changing every week is just confusing and doesn't give them enough time to get good at an exercise. And
the guys who have had success who are really capable and aren't over relying on equipment and aren't playing any games, the guys who've done well on conjugate approaches have years and years and years. Like I guess the best example I can think of, because he's talked about it openly, John Wellborn. For since he was like 10 years old, has probably been training really hard for football. And when he was in high school, he was front squatting 500 pounds. He had years and years and years of awesome, focused programming experience. Then after his playing days, I guess, and into his playing days in like the college, he started messing around with those conjugate approaches, I think. That's my understanding. And he had loads of awesome success.
Yeah.
But if you are a young CrossFitter and you go to a CrossFit powerlifting seminar, which has great information, but you start incorporating that a little too soon, you're going to sabotage yourself. You got to know when the time is right to break out these things.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they teach at the CrossFit powerlifting seminars. I mean, they may be doing, some Texas method stuff and not just conjugate.
I haven't been to it yet.
I know a lot of.
For me, the Texas method's my favorite approach.
I know a lot of CrossFit Journal videos. They've been referencing the conjugate method, and then And one thing I do find with the conjugate method is there's a couple different approaches that you can take with that. So if you're a newer person to training, if you don't have as much training volume, you can still use the conjugate method, but you don't want to change the exercise every week. You may spend an entire month on
That's actually what I do.
Monday doing a back squat for a month or two.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go to Westside Barbell, if you go and train with Louis Simmons, his version of the conjugate method, I mean, he did develop it. So, but even he has written some articles where he says, hey, if you're newer to this, stick with the same exercise every Monday, the same exercise every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Every Tuesday that month, you'll stick with the same exercises. But then as you become more advanced, you'll have to change it every single Monday. Like this Monday, we're doing safety bar. The next Monday, we're doing camber. The next Monday, we're doing straight bar. And that's one thing that he talks about is, exactly what you're talking about is taking the variation out. And one way to do that is probably just stick with back squats for the whole month. I do want to go over what the conjugate method is real quick, though.
We could probably segue into weightlifting as well. It's the same thing for weightlifting perspective where if you're a beginner weightlifter, what should you do? You should do full range of motion, snatch, and clean and jerk. You should do squat catches. You need to learn these movements. And then when you master them, you get really good at it. Again, you can entertain power hang, pulls off blocks. But why would you pull off a block and get good at that and then try to test your snatch, try to catch it and fall down because you don't know the movement? It's the same kind of approach. You build the foundation and you go from there.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about your weightlifting angle on how weightlifters get so damn big in the ass and legs? What makes weightlifters so damn successful gaining mass?
Yeah, I think in regard to weightlifting, and maybe clear that up a little bit with weightlifting. When we say weightlifting, we're talking about the Olympic lifts. I know a lot of times people get upset when you use the term Olympic lifts, but it must be said because most people are not familiar.
That's
with
the name of the fucking sport. It's Olympic weightlifting.
Well, not really.
It is, isn't it?
It's weightlifting.
Or just weightlifting.
It's weightlifting.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Only like 0.2% of the population is getting accept when you call it Olympic lifting, and those guys are all high level lifters.
They're all elite
so
weightlifters.
yeah.
But weightlifting, the sport of weightlifting, is snatch and clean and jerk.
Capital W.
Go to USAW website, USA Weightlifting's website, and they've got a whole weightlifting 101. If you want to learn how that works, go to that website, check it out. One of the things that make, why weightlifters, when it was funny is when I lifted the Arnold last week, very successfully, I might add.
You crushed it, bro.
Yeah, I did good. But
He did good.
But I had some friends that I don't talk to as much anymore. I see them once every couple years.
You too good for them?
Pretty much, no. I see them every couple years, and some of them saw the videos that posted on Facebook and whatnot. They were like, how did you get your quads to be that size? Like, why do they look like that? And I'm like, well, technically I'm squatting 5 days a week. And they're like, what? I can't squat but maybe once or twice because I get so sore. And the difference between the way that I'm squatting as a weightlifter versus a bodybuilder, which is the typical approach that people take, they pick up Muscle and Fitness or Flex Magazine, and they see that they got to do 5 sets of 10 and totally destroy themselves on Monday, and they walk around like they got something stuck in their ass until Thursday, and then they do it again maybe on Friday, whatever. I mean, that used to be my protocol, but with weightlifting, you're squatting 5 days a week. 2 of those days, you're probably squatting pretty heavy, and then the other 3 days, the squatting might be because you're doing snatches and cleans. It may not be that you're actually putting the bar on your shoulders and doing squats. I personally like to squat heavy twice a week and then do a speed squat another day. So I may back squat twice, may say Mondays and Saturdays. And then on Wednesdays, I'm doing like speed front squats or something like that. That's kind of what I'm doing now. I mean, it changes a lot, but
so let's throw some numbers on top of both those examples. So with the bodybuilding example, that guy might have done back squats for 5 sets of 10 and ended up brutally sore.
Yeah.
Right? And
I'll talk about what I used to do. I used to start off with back squats, do 5 sets of 10 on that.
Yeah.
Then I would go do leg extensions. I would do 5 sets of 10 on leg extensions. 60-second rest between everything.
Hardcore, man.
Then 5 sets of 10 on hamstring curls.
Oh, yeah.
Then I would go do 5 sets of 10 on deadlifts.
Yeah.
So I'm picking. I would pick.
So stupid.
I would pick 4 to 5 exercises, and I would do 5 sets of 10 to failure or close to failure, and it would just it'd be one of those things where like I was continually sore
Week after week after week after
Yeah, I did
week.
that for about a decade. I trained that. I trained that way for 9 years. So then I would do that on say Monday, Tuesday. I would come in. I would bench press 5 sets of 10, dumbbell press 5 sets of 10, incline dumbbell press 5 sets of 10, pec deck,
And this
burn
is,
it
this
out.
is the kind of shit you can only do when you're young, by the way. This would destroy me.
Yeah,
It would destroy me now.
5 sets of 10 on pec deck, and then I would go on to my triceps. Then I would do tricep press downs 5 sets of 10, skull crushers 5 sets of 10. I would take every body part and do like 5 exercises for 10 reps, 5 sets of 10 for each body part, and I would hit that twice a week. So if I did legs on Monday, I would then do it again on Thursday. I was training 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, with 60-second breaks in between sets.
Sounds smart.
And then the thing is my whole goal at the time was to get as big as possible. And it's actually kind of interesting because I feel like even though I wasn't training for performance, and then on top of that I would do that, and then I would go out and run like 3 to 6 miles.
Yeah,
Like three days a week, and then I would go swimming a couple days a week. It's basically bodybuilding plus endurance, LSD, long slow distance programming. So
I'm glad you clarified that.
I would also call it just dumb shit.
so what
Dumb shit training.
how that benefited me is that got a ton of training volume under my belt. And that's probably why I don't benefit from high rep stuff now, is because I did a lot of that when I was younger. And so that is one approach that you can take when you're trying to gain weight. That is definitely a big bodybuilding protocol. You're destroying the muscle as much as possible. It's not functional for days on end, and then you can work it again. That's one way to do it. And then now when you come to weightlifting, the rep ranges are much shorter. I'm talking. I personally don't see a lot of benefit doing more than 3 reps. Like I don't even like doing 5x5 anymore. So I've been weightlifting since I was 25, so about 6-7 years now, and I've been doing the shorter rep ranges, and I find that I get a lot of benefit out of like sets of 2. Like I do 10 sets of 2.
And cleans and snatches also squats though?
So what?
Also squats, not just the snatch and the clean.
Yeah, the squats. So like every once in a while, maybe once in a blue moon, I'll do 5 sets of 5. And as I'm about to do 5 sets of 5, I'm like, I don't even want to do it because I'll do 5 sets of 5 across.
Which is, so to clarify, there's 2 ways you could approach this, ladies and gentlemen. You could do your 5 sets. You could warm up to a weight that's heavy for 5 and do that 5 times. That's called sets across. And it is really brutal to recover from. That's the hardest thing you can do in a gym. Or you can do like what I commonly like to do is like I warm up till I get to a weight that's I can check off and say that works for set of 5. So it's pretty light. And I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I hit the top one that's really, really brutal. So it's only one that's really taxing the hell out of me. So for me, at my age, I can recover from that. I can make weekly progress, actually, especially now that I'm doing a different kind of squat for my own personal training. But if you're really, really experienced and you want to do 5x5 that sets across, that's going to be brutally, brutally hard. So there's 2 ways of approaching it. You got to play and see what's right for you.
Yeah.
And by right for you, I mean if the next week you can perform and add weight to that, then 5 across is probably okay. If Mike does 5 across at 385 or something, you probably won't walk the rest of the week. It's just too much for you.
Yeah, and in regard to why weightlifting works well now for everybody and for myself is because I am squatting 5 days a week. Not every day I'm blowing it out. The volume load is not so great that I can't get in the gym the next day and train again. But squatting high, it's high volume over the whole week. And yeah. There's some speed components in there. So where before it was like 5 sets of 10, it was all grinder. Now there's days where I'm doing high force lifts. It's 90% of my 1 rep max for a double. There's other days where I'm doing, say, a clean instead, which is going to end up being, I'm basically pulling from the floor like a deadlift. And then I'm also squatting the weight, and it's 60 to 70% of my back squat or something like that. So I'm getting speed there. I'm going to take a day where I purposely speed squat, and that's going to benefit me on doing a lot of speed work is beneficial to me to lift more weight.
Yeah.
But I think we should. Well, let's go ahead and take a break real quick. Man, we've been going for 45 minutes. All right, let's take a break real quick. When we come back,
Lots of information to share.
maybe I feel like we could probably do a couple shows on this, a couple more. But we'll take a break real quick, and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about how you can get bigger and stronger.
Yo!
Doug Larson here with Technique Wad. You can find us at barbellshrugged.com if you aren't already there. All right, today we're going to go over something called pullovers, which is a gymnastics movement that we do on occasion here, but I don't see a whole lot of CrossFitters doing very frequently, and I rarely see anyone instructing pullovers at their gym. So what a pullover looks like is if I'm at the top of a pull-up and I want to get on top of the bar, obviously I can do a bar muscle-up, or I can do a pullover where I go around the other side. So if I start at the top of the movement, I want to do a toes to bar, and then come right up over the top, just like that. Okay? So the bar is going to hit me right here, where I'm just kind of hanging on the bar. I'm doing a toes to bar, and then I'm bringing my hips right here. Okay? From here, I can just re-grip and then pull right back to the top. Okay. I lose my mic. Okay. To scale that movement, that's a hard movement for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. So usually what we do when we're teaching it is we scale one of two ways. Usually we have people start either at the top like I was, just like this. We tell them to get onto a box, hop up to the top, just like this, and then lower down just a little bit to get on their hip. Have them roll forward just like I was. I usually re-grip right here. I kind of grab over the top a little bit further, and then they go forward. When you get here, you pull your face all the way up as high as you can. Okay, so I'm not falling down to a full pull-up. I'm pulling my face up here and then landing in that full pull-up right all the way at the top. Okay. The other thing we do to tell people to scale is to hop themselves into position. So again, I'm up on a box. That's out a little bit. Again, I'm up on a box where I'm basically at the top of a pull-up. We have them squat down just a little bit, and then they're going to jump without hitting their head on the bar. They're going to hop their legs over the top, and they're going to try not to pinch themselves like I just did. Okay, so you're going to hop over, do a very high toes to bar, and then land the bar right in the crease of your hip. Okay? So they're going to go here and kind of hop over all the way to the top. Okay. All right, so as people get more comfortable with that, we're going to ask them to try to do it with straight legs. Okay? Having bent legs, or bent legs that are kind of split apart is pretty sloppy. A lot of people are going to do that when they're first starting out. When I was jumping up just now, you saw I throw one leg over first. That's usually what people do, but as they get more comfortable with it, we're going to ask them to get into a pike position. So if I'm all the way up at the top, this is easier than this. Okay, so I want to do a pike. All the way up, same thing on the way down. Come over the bar, nice and controlled in that pike position on the way down too. Okay, so those are pullovers. Go ahead and try those at your facility.
Wear a helmet.
Wear a helmet.
We ready? For real? All right. So we're gonna pick up where we left off. We talked a little bit about powerlifting, bodybuilding, and weightlifting, and I want to talk a little bit about muscle physiology. So
From a high level,
Sounds fancy.
don't get all fancy with
some
it.
of you are gonna get bored right now. Actually, no, we're gonna try and keep it nice and chill.
Gonna punch it up.
So I know, I'm just talking a lot today. I feel like
the bulletproof
I'm
coffee,
sorry,
man.
Doug. Dude, I have consumed a mass amount of caffeine.
You're the yappy bitch this time. I feel like I'm vindicated.
All right, so I'm gonna just go with it and screw you guys. But so with bodybuilding, that protocol I was talking about, the 5 sets of 10, just totally blowing it out. Moderate weights, you can't do heavy weight for 10 reps. You have to make it lighter. So the lighter weights for more repetitions, that's going to cause more muscle damage, but also the type of physiological muscle changes you're getting there is what we call sarcoplasmic. And so sarcoplasm in the muscle cell, it's the same as cytoplasm for any other cell. All that is the fluid in the muscle cell.
It's your muscle goo.
It's your muscle goo. So if you increase...
Right, Doug? Is that the physiological term?
Yeah, sarcoplasm is a muscle cell.
Goo. Muscle
Goo. Yeah. Doug's like...
The other stuff in the cell, sure.
Yeah, so it's...
The stuff that's not contracting, we'll say for now.
Yeah, think about it as just the fluid inside the muscle cell. With the 5 sets of 10, the bodybuilding protocol, what they're trying to do is maximize the amount of sarcoplasm in the muscle cell to make it as big as possible. Don't confuse that with fluid outside of the cell, which would make you look puffy. More fluid in the muscle cell via bodybuilding protocol is going to make you look more muscular. More definition, all that kind of stuff.
Puff daddy's a bad thing here.
That's right.
So if you do super high volume training, kind of like you're talking about, 5 sets of 10
High
on
reps.
multiple different movements, you look at a bodybuilder, especially growing up, you look at a bodybuilder and you think that guy just looks so strong. And he looks very muscular and he's buff and all that. But compared to a high-level weightlifter, a high-level powerlifter or strongman, the bodybuilder, even though he looks very buff because he's shredded and you can see the muscles, he's maybe not quite as strong as the world-class powerlifter or the world-class strongman. It doesn't mean he's not strong. If you look at a bodybuilder and he can overhead press 300 pounds, he's still a strong dude, but he might look much stronger than he actually is.
Yeah, it's fair.
Pound for pound to someone like a professional strength athlete rather than a physique athlete.
Keep in mind that the sarcoplasm is not contractile tissue like you were talking about. You're increasing the amount of fluid, but in that fluid is going to be things for like energy. So you are increasing the performance of the muscle to perform at higher endurance activities. So you're training it to do more reps. So it's going to increase that fluid, but it's not going to increase the ability for the muscle to contract for really heavy loads.
So what will? What will, bro?
What will? So you have basically two things that are going to make the muscles bigger or more dense. That first is that sarcoplasm, which is going to make it bigger. And the other thing is myofibrillar density. And so that's your actin and myosin. And what they do is those are the actual filaments inside the muscle that cause the contraction to happen. Training modes,
the little ratchets, that cause...
They kind of grab onto each other and then pull like that, and it shortens the muscle, and there's a contraction.
Right. So if you want to maximize strength without maximizing size, the type of protocol you would use would be a weightlifting style protocol, which is... lower reps, higher weights. So high speed and high force movements. So weights that are light but you're moving at maximum speeds, and high force, that means, a weight that you can only get like 1 to 3 reps of, and you're really pushing it hard. You're not going to get very much sarcoplasmic build there. You're not going to get a lot of more sarcoplasm in the muscle cell that way. But what you will do is get more myofibrillar density. And that's why these small weightlifters can lift so much weight, even though they don't look that big. So those are like two separate sides of the spectrum. You have bodybuilders on this side of the spectrum, and you have weightlifters on the opposite side of the spectrum, because most weightlifters are not trying to put on a lot of weight.
Let's make a point that's popular fans, but let's ask a rhetorical question. Why are bears so fucking awesome? Because they have both of those.
Insane myofibrillar density.
Yeah. Do not fuck with a bear for the following reasons. One, obviously it's a bear. It will destroy you. But the reasons why are gigantically huge muscles, X hundreds of % more than you have. And then within that muscle, X 100% more efficiency. So of the twice as much muscle, there's 2 or 3 times the myofibrillar efficiency. And then on the end of that arm that's got all these things, razor sharp claws. Don't fuck with a bear. So Joe Rogan made this point. He's like, you see that fucking wolf? He's got that werewolf in his studio. Like American Werewolf rep. He's got a werewolf in his studio.
I only listen to his show. I don't watch it.
So there's a giant werewolf in a corner. He goes, you see that werewolf? Like, yeah, it's fucking huge, right? Yeah, it's like, but if there was a bear, the bear would fucking destroy the werewolf. Bears don't fuck with a bear under any circumstances. If you see it out in the wild, don't go near it. It will eat your face off and destroy you.
All right, so everyone that just heard that and decided that they're never doing anything that's over 2 reps ever again in their whole life because if you're only gaining contractile tissue from low reps, then why would I even bother to do high reps? Because it doesn't make me any stronger. For anyone that just made that assumption. Don't go too far down that path quite yet. So go ahead.
You notice I talked about bodybuilders and weightlifters, but I didn't say anything about powerlifters. And this is where like powerlifters, especially someone that's doing the conjugate method, kind of is in the middle. So their first exercise of the day is either high speed, it's that dynamic effort, or it's that max effort. It's that high force or high speed. So the first movement, the movement that they want to get better at, which is normally a squat or the press.
Or deadlift.
Right. Yeah. They'll pick a lower body or an upper body movement, and they will maximize the speed or the force on that. And then they'll spend the rest of the training session. They'll do 8 doubles, or they'll do was it 5 singles? Is that how that works? I forget.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. The conjugate method gets kind of funny. So then afterwards, they'll pick like 3 to 5 exercises and do 3 to 5 sets of 6 to 10 reps. 2 reps short of failure. So, the beginning of their session, they're looking at increasing myofibrillar density, and the rest of the session is working on having more sarcoplasm, if you want to just look at it from a purely muscle physiology perspective. So they're getting kind of the best of both worlds, and that's why these powerlifters are so freaking big and strong. And I think that weightlifters or CrossFitters who are doing weightlifting style programming that want to gain weight, such as myself, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to still use a weightlifting protocol for getting faster and stronger, but I'm also going to implement more of a bodybuilding or powerlifting assistance work approach. So what I'll do is I'll add in assistance work after my main lifts in order to build up that muscle size and not just muscle density.
So knowing what the role of a good assistance exercise is, which ones were you thinking you'll choose?
Well, for right now, I'm going to actually do some single arm, single leg work, some maybe
like split squats and dumbbell rows and shit.
Well, yeah, I'm going to do some dumbbell rows. I'm going to, especially away from a competition, I'll do more single arm, single leg stuff. I'm actually going to do some single leg deadlifts. Good mornings are a really good choice for me. Glute ham raises are really good choices for me. I
do like rear foot elevated split squats, especially for people that don't
split squats
that aren't very good about using their glutes. And if you want to basically grow your butt and get stronger hips, then rear foot elevated split squats are fantastic for that. Nothing makes my glutes sore like those do.
So I'll probably do some squats.
Nothing pounds my glutes like a good split squat.
That's right.
But
PoundYourAss.com.
That's probably taken.
What about PoundMyAss.com?
That's probably taken as well. But
those are high dollar
sites.
sites.
But I do think that everybody can learn from everybody. The bodybuilders could probably improve.
Well, that's why CrossFit's taking
bigger.
off, dude.
Yeah.
CrossFit's actually now learning how to incorporate from all these great resources and actually put it together. Like a few years ago, I'd say it was a example of like throwing everything you've got into a soup and just trying to make it work. And now it's like measured approach. It's planned out really well, and guys are really making the most of all these sources to really improve their performance. Not to get good at weightlifting and powerlifting, but to take those methods and get better at CrossFit. It's really starting to come together, and it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, CrossFit in its infancy was nothing. It almost seemed like a bunch of random exercises thrown together. Now there's a lot of people putting together their own version of how to prepare for CrossFit Games.
And dude, I'd probably be as guilty as anybody of looking back and being like, a couple years ago, I would have said, yeah, this is all silly. They're mixing stuff. None of these guys are very strong. They're just doing random shit. When they say programming, what they're really meaning is to show up and just pick random shit and put it on a whiteboard and go, AMRAP's this, max weight that. There's no rhyme or reason.
A
lot of people still do it, but now there's the emergence of the smart program. So all these little camps that are forming are thinking intelligently and progressively about how you not only just test and beat yourself down, but how you incorporate these things in a smart way and build yourself up.
Yeah.
And my opinion now is if you hear somebody say, CrossFitters XYZ don't know what the fuck they're doing, they just need a simple weightlifting program. I'm like, dude, I don't think you know what the fuck you're talking about. Because now I'm seeing like guys like Aja and Rich and even the guys like basically everybody who competes at any decent CrossFit show now, guys who weigh 200 pounds, can do all the WODs and shit like we always see, but can also clean and jerk 350 or more and deadlift 500 or more. Now that is shit that's new territory.
Right. I think everyone's realized that.
It's new stuff.
Yeah, everyone's realizing that constantly varied and random aren't the same thing, and they're going towards constantly varied intelligently. and not just throwing random shit on the whiteboard every day.
Yeah, they have answers to the questions. They're not just saying, well, could we thought it'd be fucking fun. That's not a reason. That's maybe that was the reason. It's not the reason anymore.
Another thing that's happening in school is, the powerlifters used to hate the weightlifters, and the weightlifters hated the powerlifters, and everyone hated the CrossFitters, and the CrossFitters thought the powerlifters were stupid. But now it's one of those things where, like, there's legit like powerlifters. We talked to last week, Jesse Burdick.
Yeah, Jesse and I trained together at Westside way back in the Arnold visit when he was fat and I was even fatter. Like in 2004 or 5, we did safety squats. He beat me on the safety squat. He did like 600, I did like 585. But I wish I was there to talk to Jesse. We could catch up on that stuff.
He's now part of the CrossFit community, and he's real friendly.
He's a super smart guy. He's got great knowledge about physical training and powerlifting.
And I wonder, like, he sat down when we were sitting with John North, and it's like, would he have sat down with us had CrossFit not existed and kind of brought these groups together? You know what I mean? Like, it kind of informed all groups and informed the weightlifters and the powerlifters. Hey, there's other ways of training too that might be beneficial. And I think CrossFit is actually helping everyone learn from everybody else.
Yeah, there's a lot of style differences, but the crossover is extreme. Like everyone has the same goal of getting stronger and being more athletic. And just because you have one style that you've grown up with doesn't mean that these other styles can't benefit you.
I agree. I think CrossFit is the hub in the world that's helping to connect all these ideas, and you can see it helps the strongmen and the weightlifters and the powerlifters all identify through this thing better. Like, you understand why, like, a weightlifter can go, man, it's super awesome you can deadlift so much. And a powerlifter can say, well, yeah, I can deadlift this much, but golly, how do you do that jerk thing so well? It's instead of just noticing what the differences are and trying to say why you're superior, you can appreciate why these guys are so great.
So earlier we talked about training age with respect to variation and how often you need to kind of switch things up to keep moving forward and not plateau. So again, with regards to training age, we talked about different set and rep protocols. If you're brand new, how does planning sets and reps differ from someone who's been training for 5 or 10 years?
I don't know if it differs all that much. I mean, you're gonna the sets and reps. The older I get, the more I really don't care. I mean, I'm not gonna do sets of 10 to get better from a performance perspective, but I to great effect can still use 5x5s. I mean, what changes is 5x5 is always good, 3x5 is always good, 3x1s. I mean, the money ranges don't change. For me, it's all about how often I can add the weight. That's the only thing that shifts for me, from my perspective.
Yeah. So as an example, if someone comes into the gym their very first week, we're not going to be like, okay, well, you're doing 5 sets of heavy singles on your very first day, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna give them a different set rep protocol from someone who's been there for 10 years. So, and then again, as an example,
there's angle of proficiency.
Yeah, if you have a high level power lifter like that wants to get stronger, and you give that person 3 sets of 8, well, their deadlift's not going to improve on 3 sets of 8. They're not going to go from 600 to 650 on 3 sets of 8. They have to do doubles and singles heavy because they need that heavy weight, that high muscle tension
and then maybe can't take the sets of 5 that heavy because they're so strong, they're so efficient that a heavy set of 5x5 would really destroy them.
Right. So, that would definitely wear down a high level powerlifter or weightlifter to do 5 sets of 5 heavy multiple times a week. It's just, it's too much. So as a general rule, and this is not infallible in any way, but, beginners tend to do better with slightly higher reps, and then more advanced people that are already really strong and have a good training age, they've been doing it for 5 or 10 years, they tend to do really well for pure strength training, sets of 3 and below. They need heavy doubles and heavy singles to get stronger. Once you kind of hit like a real PR, you are snatching, body weight and a half. At that point, doing sets of 5 on snatches is probably not going to increase your max. You have to do heavy singles, and you have to do speed reps with 80% and above. So if you're not very neuromuscularly efficient, which basically means you're a beginner, then doing high rep ranges is still pretty beneficial. But as you get more experience and become more efficient, you can recruit all your muscle fibers more quickly, then you need those lower rep ranges and those higher percentages of your max to keep getting stronger and keep getting more powerful.
And I do want to note that I do prefer a weightlifting style program as a basis for a CrossFitter for getting bigger and stronger and faster. Because of that, the CNS, the central nervous system training.
I didn't really explain that. You want to touch on that?
Sure.
What is your brain? What does it do?
My brain controls my body but my body tells my brain things, and they have this conversation. No, but so talking about central nervous system training, or just nervous system training, is talking about being able to activate a lot of muscles at one time. So the more efficient you become, the more not only can you activate more muscles at one time, but also activate the right muscles to perform a given movement. And the reason I prefer weightlifting over, say, powerlifting movements for maximum central nervous system stimulation and all that is because you're using your entire body. Not to say that when you do like a low bar box squat or something like that, you're not using your whole body, but it's not you're not organizing all your muscles into as much of an athletic concerted effort. When I do a snatch, every single muscle in the body is playing a role, and it has to pick the weight up off the floor. Everything has to fire at the right time to get maximum velocity out of that bar at the exact right time. Then I have to pull underneath that bar, and then I have to use my shoulders to catch that bar overhead and then stand up with it. You're not going to find that type of movement.
That's why it's
anywhere
one
else.
half of the BS total.
That's right. Oh wow, we didn't talk about that yet.
So here, I'll try to give a dumbed down example, or to simplify what neuromuscular efficiency really means. So say each muscle is made up of a bunch of different muscle fibers, and so say one single muscle has 100 muscle fibers in it, and say if you're a beginner, every second you recruit 10 of those fibers. So the first second you recruit 10, and then 20, and then 30, and then 40. It takes you 10 seconds to recruit all 100 muscle fibers. As you become more neuromuscularly efficient and you get stronger in your training age, you've been training for longer and you're becoming more neuromuscularly efficient, you can contract maybe 20 the first second, then 20 the second second. Now it only takes you 5 seconds to contract all those muscle fibers. And if you're a super high level weightlifter, maybe that first second, you just contract all 100. Yep. And that's what makes you explosive and it makes you powerful, because you can recruit all your muscle fibers right away. So beginners, they can't contract and recruit all those muscle fibers right away. So doing the high rep ranges tends to help them, because they can fatigue those first 10 and then fatigue the next 10 and then fatigue the next 10 over a longer set, and they can fatigue all those muscle fibers. And this isn't 100% accurate the way that I'm saying this, but it's a good way to conceptualize it. And they can use those higher rep ranges to contract all or fatigue all of those muscle fibers and all those what are called motor units. So a more advanced athlete, though, can recruit and contract more muscle fibers
they don't
in
need
a shorter
as many
period of
reps.
time. So they don't need.
They
don't need as many reps.
I think that's what makes, I'm trying to remember back to my physiology classes, that makes cats so impressive, is that in a very split-second instant, they recruit everything all at once with maximum efficiency. That's why a cat can be sitting here and then all of a sudden jump to the roof.
We can
If
actually
you're trying to
talk,
work to that ideal.
We can talk to Zach Critch about animals and muscle fibers next week. Well, because
Does he know a lot about that?
He's in veterinary school right now, and we're gonna podcast with him probably next week, and he's gonna be able to. He's been talking about muscle physiology of different types of animals.
We're all just animals, man. Animals being.
Yeah, so I like the Olympic lifts for building that speed, because you simply cannot move it without being fast. There's definitely ways to build up your nervous system with squats and presses and stuff like that. But and I think that's going to play a big role in your training. But you have to be doing snatches and clean and jerks if you really do want to maximize your athletic potential during strength training.
So kind of back to the example that I just gave. If say you're a 150-pound guy and you're a beginner and you do the first model that I showed you, where you do 10 muscle fibers the first second, then 10 the second second, then 10 the third second. If you go to do something like a max back squat, I mean, how long are you really going to be pressing on that bar before you decide that you can't lift it? Only a couple seconds. So say you squat down and then you try to push up, and you only push up, and after 3 seconds you failed. Well, that means that you maybe only recruited 30% in this example of the muscle fibers possible. But if you're more neuromuscularly efficient and you push on for 3 seconds, well, maybe you recruited 60% or 80% or 100%. So that's why someone who's the same size as another person can be much stronger even with the same amount of muscle mass, because they're recruiting all of their muscle quickly, as opposed to just a percentage of their muscle quickly.
And that
So
comes not just with experience, but with also particular training protocols. If you always stick with 5 sets of 10, you probably aren't going to be improving your neuromuscular efficiency that much.
Right. And that's also why bodybuilders in some cases aren't as strong as they look, because they do slow, controlled reps we didn't talk about this earlier, but
Right.
say I'm doing push-ups, and on the way down, I'm moving nice and slow, and that's the part that's breaking down muscle tissue. When I'm pushing up, it's not necessarily breaking down much muscle tissue, so I don't get a big growth response on the pushing up part. So I control on the way down, and that causes a lot of tissue breakdown, and that causes a stimulus for growth. But with weightlifting, it's kind of concentric only. It's just the pushing up part, when standing and pulling the weight up to my shoulders or pulling the weight overhead. And so there's not a big growth response to weightlifting in some cases. So the guys work on their neuromuscular efficiency without necessarily getting that sarcoplasmic growth like you were talking about.
Right.
You got to be a mixture of show and grow.
Show and grow.
You know where that comes from?
No.
That's what's said about wieners. A wiener can be all show or it can be all grow. If you got to choose, you want to be the grower, not just the shower. The shower, the cat's out of the bag initially, and then there's no impressing anybody on the back end. It's better to say, "Oh, what? That's not very impressive." All of a sudden, bang, you go.
Bam, you impress their back end.
So keep that in mind, CrossFitters. Not all. You don't want to be all show. You want to be a little go.
Have I not heard that before?
I don't know. Now you've heard it, motherfucker.
Okay, so here are some what if questions. What if you want to gain weight, you want to get bigger, you want to get stronger, but you don't want to lose your six pack? Like we kind of make fun of that sometimes and say, well, just fucking don't worry about it and just get bigger and don't worry about your six pack. But what if you really don't? What if you really want to kind of just gain as much muscle as possible, but you don't want to gain very much body fat at all? What do you do?
My thought is you move towards the efficiency angle. You're training the weightlifting protocol that won't cause a lot of bulkiness, excess non-functional adaptations, and you want to go towards more pruning and making nervous systems as efficient as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess doing just enough the heavy stuff to improve the contractile quality, but not necessarily going for that sarcoplasmic goo growth we're talking about.
So relatively low volume and mostly speed power work.
That's what I would say.
I'm going to disagree a little bit. I mean,
Go ahead. This is a democracy. Your voice matters on this show. Feel free to say whatever you think.
I mean, if you're trying to put on max amount of size without losing the six pack, I think that you're going to have to do a lot more of the high volume stuff and try to do as much as possible. I mean, you need both. You need as much myofibrillar and sarcoplasmic growth as possible. And
his is more of a strength bend to things without gaining much weight.
Yeah, he was describing not gaining weight, but if we're talking about getting as big as possible without losing your six pack, you're going to have to do a lot of work. And then you're also going to have to gain weight a lot slower. I do think it's possible to maintain your leanness while getting bigger. But I'm thinking, I seriously think if you're going to do that route, you might be gaining 5 pounds a year of lean mass. Now, for me,
that's a good gain for some people if they've been in the game for a while.
I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gain 30 pounds and put on 15, 20 pounds. 15, 20 pounds. I mean, the goal is to put on 15, 20 pounds of muscle in like 7 or 8 months.
Well, I guess you're hitting at the obvious thing, which is what's the diet component. If you're trying not to gain,
it's gonna be mostly nutrition based.
If you're trying to preserve your six pack, I guess I'm thinking you gotta be careful with the diet. And if you're being careful with the diet, you don't have a big excess of calories, then the training volume can't be so high because you could beat yourself up. You can't recover from it.
Yeah.
There's a balance of more than one thing here. So if you're eating a whole bunch of really awesome high quality food, then I guess the volume can come up.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to, if you're scared about, if you're like saying, well, I'm gonna keep my calories really under check, then I think you have to train very, very efficiently because you don't have all the luxury of having all this energy to burn.
Yeah.
You're gonna end up having shitty performance, and we don't want shitty performance, do we? No.
But yeah, I mean, if you wanna put on the weight, slowly and maintain that six pack, it's just I'm gonna beat you. The big swings are where it's at. The literature supports that. My personal experience, Doug's personal experience, Chris's personal experience, it all supports that you can put on the most muscle mass in the shortest period of time and get as stronger faster if you make big swings. And that means gaining weight all at once, and that means, aggressively leaning out as well.
That being said, every time I've made a big swing, I haven't gotten fat. I just get bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
Gain a little bit of fat, but not fat where you're
I'm
worried about it.
I say I might
barely
go,
any, like 3%.
Yeah, I naturally walk around like 7% body fat, and I may pop up to like 11 or 12% when I'm putting on weight. And then,
don't play just the tip with this. Go all in. Know what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's a good philosophy for life.
Balls deep. That's it.
Go
I don't know how all guys
hashtag balls deep.
hashtag balls deep.
Oh Jesus.
We're just seeing how many
that'll be
people will
your
actually
shirt.
use the hashtag.
We're trying to think of shirts for everybody. That'll be on the back of your shirt.
balls.
Balls deep.
Balls deep.
I like it.
You like it balls deep?
Goat life, balls deep. That's what I'm
We're getting a list of these things. We got a lot of t-shirts to make.
All right,
Here, we got
another
we
one.
got more questions. What if I get too big and gymnastics gets much harder?
That's
What-
a very
what do you do
practical
then?
concern.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, as for myself as an example, like I used to do all gymnastics stuff. I did gymnastics when I was younger, before I was introduced to weightlifting and powerlifting and Olympic lifts and whatnot. All I did was push-ups and pull-ups and dips. I had this little like push-up, pull-up, dip thing in my bedroom when I was smaller, when I was a little kid, and all I did was high volume gymnastics movements. That's all I knew, and it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. But I was diesel upper body, and my legs were basically nothing. Like back when I was 15 years old, before I started all this stuff, I could do 37 dead hang pull-ups, like with good technique, all the way up, all the way down, because I had no legs on me, and all I'd ever done was gymnastics stuff. And then I started, working with a real strength coach. I started doing 20 rep squats, and then followed up with kind of like you were talking about, like 3 sets of 10 RDLs and 3 sets of 10 lunges and yada yada. And I gained like 25 pounds over the course of like 8 months when I was about 16 years old. And my pull-ups and my gymnastics for me kind of went to shit because I put on 20 some odd pounds, and I went from 160 to 185. So I wasn't really that concerned about it, but people are concerned about that in CrossFit, because if you can only do 2 muscle ups right now and then you put on 20 pounds in your legs,
That's going to get harder.
well, what are you going to do? Yeah.
Well, if you keep doing pull-ups and muscle-ups and stuff and L-sits and all that stuff as you're putting the weight on, you're probably going to be able to maintain it. Now, if you totally neglect it, yeah, it's going to go away, because you want your upper body and your gymnastics work to get stronger. As we're not just working on getting stronger for weightlifting and that's it. We're going to get stronger. Like, I know when we do our strength or a bigger, stronger program for the next 6 months, the way that's going to look is there's going to be some gymnastic skills in there so you don't lose them. If you can do 4 muscle ups in a row in 6 months, I actually think you could be doing more muscle ups just because you're stronger. Okay. So you don't want to, I think that has more to do with just keeping on doing those movements as you gain the weight. If you put on 5 pounds in a month and then you didn't do 1 muscle up the whole time, yeah, you'll probably lose that muscle up. It just got a little bit harder.
And you didn't practice it, dummy. Practice the shit you want to keep good at. I mean, come on.
That's right.
Right.
It's common sense.
So if someone is doing the right things, they're training correctly, they're eating correctly, and they're sleeping correctly, and they're not getting bigger, well, then what? How do you make adjustments, adapt, and move beyond a plateau?
I mean, you're obviously not eating correctly if you're not gaining weight. And I think you brought this up in your talk. For every training hour you have, you want 8 hours of sleep base, and then an hour. This is a Doug Larson rule. An hour for every hour you train, you need to sleep that for another hour. So if you train for 2 hours, you need to sleep 10 hours.
Right. 8 hours is the standard. If you have 1 training session, you add an hour. If you have 2 training sessions, you add 2 hours. So if you don't train at all, 8 hours of sleep is the standard. If you train 1 time, 9 hours. If you train twice a day, 10 hours.
So, if you're
Easier said than done.
If your plan is to gain weight and you're not gaining weight, then you're obviously not doing something right. It may not be sleep. It may be nutrition. You may just need to throw more carbs in your diet. That's just, everyone's a little bit different. Everyone's physiology is a little bit different. Everyone's got a little bit different muscle mass.
That's what you'll learn in this program.
Yeah, regardless of the advice you're getting from people or the books that you're reading, if you're not getting the result, then you're not doing it right. You need to make a change. Outcome-based decision making. If it's not working, then it's not working.
That's why it helps to have somebody who is not just giving you a generic program, is giving you specialized advice for your situation. Because that's the difference between success and failure. Is what makes you different.
Correct.
And I've fallen into that many times in my life where I'm like, I'm doing it right. It's not working, but I don't care. I'm just like, well, I'm doing it right, but it's not working, and so I don't make the change because I read the book or I got the lesson from someone who I respect or whatever, but it's not working. And I need to change.
That's the trick. Is that it's one thing I'm big on now is going to go into this book I'm putting together, like a section. I talked about it a little bit at the Garage Games. This idea of combining what you know to be true with your experience. So, like for me, I know that many people have gotten huge deadlifts by pulling heavy sets of 5 once a week. They deadlift heavy every week, and they do it for a lot of reps. So somebody who deadlifts 700 pounds can pull low 600s for sets of 5 and get really good. So for me, I see it over and over again. So I know objectively speaking, that works. So I try it and I get terrible results. It's because I have a certain history, a certain experience that must be accounted for, which is completely unique to me. So I've got short arms. I'm a little back dependent. My mechanics aren't so good. I've got thoracic mobility issues. So all of a sudden I'm putting a little bit more of a load on my back. And then I have a history of back injuries. So the idea that sets of 5 are good measured against my subjective experience equals I need a different path if I'm going to be successful. So everything that is a rule that everybody would agree is accurate and true may not apply to you at all or to the lesser extent. You got to have this tweak and you got to have interaction with somebody who has similar experiences who can walk you through it. And if you're going to get the results you're after.
Yeah, it's hard to tell beginners to listen to their body. You get much
you
better
need
with
help.
that.
You need a guiding hand to show you, okay, well, tell me what your experience has been. I think this is a better way to do this. And then with time, you begin to see that path and you can do it yourself, but you need help to get going.
True
That's
story.
that's what old Uncle Chris has to say.
All right, let's go ahead and shut it down. Bledsoe's out. He's texting away. You want to shut us down there, team leader?
I've got girls texting me pictures of themselves
Oh,
in the
shut
Barbell
up.
Shrugged
From
t-shirts.
California?
You liar. You liar.
He wishes.
No. Oh, okay, cool. All right, we're wrapping the show up.
Yeah, it was time. You were checked
glad I
out.
told you to shut it down.
Yeah, I'm actually supposed to be meeting somebody in 3 minutes, and I just realized that that my keys are not here, so I've got no way to get there. So, Doug, you're gonna have to take me.
Awesome.
Just good.
Oh my
Jesus
gosh.
Christ.
Make sure you guys go to the website and sign up if you want to gain the weight.
You want me to do your plugs? Shut the fuck
If
up.
you want to gain
Go
your
to the
weight.
website. You're going to see the sidebar, which will direct you to more information about this huge project very soon. Doug, when do you think that's post this?
It'll be up by the time this episode is up. It'll be on the right side of the screen on every page of the site.
Yeah.
On barbellshrugged.com.
Mike, what else do you want me to plug for you? Or can you think now?
Yeah, go and plug Simple Strength while he's getting his
Yeah.
thoughts together.
So we're talking a lot about periodization and give you a lot to chew on. But my opinion is if you can start to see the path for yourself and learn just when it is a good idea to incorporate certain things, then I think you are empowered to train much better and to program for yourself. So Simple Strength exposes all these ideas to you, but it does it in a very intuitive way. So you can say, that's what conjugate periodization sort of means for me. And for me, that's when I would add variation. So if you're interested in learning more about that and getting a really good foundation, taking complicated ideas, making them simple, check out Simple Strength. And also keep your eyes peeled to thechrismooreblog.com because I'm going to be posting more and more little segments and hints at this progress project I'm working on. I don't know when that book will be done, but it should be prepped and ready a little further in the spring, maybe early summer. I'm not going to make it so huge and burdensome we can't get it out to you guys soon. But the basic thing is that it's set up from start to beginning, how to put a goal down, how to set milestones, how to rule out what it is you don't want to improve that is not actually as important to you as the other things, how to incorporate feedback from other great people, how to address and recognize and get past limitations, and how to capture that all into a plan. But it's all presented in an entertaining sort of story format. So it can be a very different kind of project, but I hope you're looking forward to it, and I'll share more information as it starts coming together. That's all I got.
Beautiful. So the weight gain program, again, like I said earlier, it's going to be a 6-month program. It's going to be starting up Monday, April 8th, after the Open is over. Earlier when we were talking about training age and experience and how much variation you need, we were saying that beginners might need something like 8 weeks and more advanced people might need something like 1 or 2 weeks before they switch things up. In this case, we're hitting it right in the middle. We're going to give you 4-week cycles, which basically means you can do the same stuff for roughly 4 weeks. Some of that stuff will be different every day, but some of it will be the same for roughly 4 weeks. And then every 4 weeks you get a new program. So what does that come out to? Maybe 7 or so programs over the course of that 6-month period. Some of the months are longer than 4 weeks. So that's kind of how it'll be structured. We'll be giving you pieces of advice and goals kind of along that 6-month period of time. And then hopefully, as the kind of tagline there implies, you can gain 26 pounds in 26 weeks and get a lot stronger and have more muscly muscles at the end of it. Ain't that right, Mike?
That's right.
Ain't that right, Jason?
Yeah, motherfucker.
Yeah, so if we're doing a podcast, people quit texting me. I get distracted easily.
You're like a cat
Yeah.
with a laser pointer up the wall. You just can't take it.
I guess I could turn the phone off. But anyways, so I'll make sure you go to the website, sign up for the newsletter so you can be updated on all the new stuff we're doing. That way we can send you a newsletter when we post this muscle gaining thing, and we'll tell you exactly what it is and exactly how to sign up and all that
and
kind
when
of
my
stuff.
awesome book is ready for you to read,
That's right. Chris
you'll
Moore's
get the
awesome
news
book.
before anybody.
At the end of all that, we're going to have a weightlifting meet. We're going to do the Barbell Shrugged Total, which
yeah.
is
This is great.
a brand new thing we're introducing to the world right now. It's snatch and back squat. The Barbell Shrugged Total meet.
That's right.
Snatch and back squat. And we might expand on that down the line with some of our future competitions. But that's going to be the definition of the Barbell Shrugged Total. So after the weight gain program's over, we'll probably do kind of like the Open. We'll do like a Barbell Shrugged Total Open.
That's right. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to go to iTunes, give us 5 stars, and go to Facebook and like us there. Peace out.
If you do that, submit proof you did it, you get a free over the pants HJ.
Virtual.
Virtual over the pants. Were you able to get video of that last bit? Yeah.
CTP CAM.
CTP CAM. Anal sex.
Hashtag.
Which is where you can go if you want to ask a question as well. They were asking, sorry.
Make sure you get Bledsoe's sort of anomalously small nipples on the shot.
They're so little. I like to play with them.
As far as content, calories. Sorry.
Weird.
I only like strange ladies playing with my nipples.
Doug Larson here with the
Fuck.
What place did you get last year at the games?
21st.
21st?
Yeah.
And that was your second year competing?
Yeah, that was my second year.
Yeah.
Second year at the games, yeah.
Mhm.
I started in 2010. I finished 10th, I think.
Is that when you started CrossFit too?
Yeah, like early to mid 2010, and then.
And you used to be a 400-pound overweight guy
Yes.
who,
I was extraordinarily overweight. Now look at this.
oh snap.
Take a
Oh,
peek.
Wait a second.
Burpees
Is that a
galore.
6-pack or a 4-pack?
That's a 6, dude. Med ball cleans and burpees, baby.
Yes, sir.
The best thing to do is to put it back in that. Good shit.
I do.
Can you watch the video? What the fuck? Oh, not here.
This thing came with a little video.
No. Put it back and
go away.
Put it back on. It's gonna do that.
Ugh, God, leave me alone.
No, I do.
Doug's a scientist.
I'm gonna make a mess in your kitchen and then just leave it for you to clean up.
Just a slight problem.
Oof.
Did you put enough in there? Because that's if
I
we're gonna
put
one of
as
those
much
in
as
there.
your wife Ashley instructed me to
You
do.
can do 2 of those if you want some strong coffee.
So you just opened up your own facility?
Well, we opened one up 6 months ago, Behemoth CrossFit, and we're kind of in the transition phase of opening up our own specific facility. Our current one's inside of a sports training facility, so we don't necessarily have our own facility.
So did you grow your membership there and then
Yeah.
you're gonna, yeah,
It's kind of cool.
that's the way to do
It's
it.
like tucked away on this random road, like in the middle of a forest, so people have a hard time finding it. But we've grown it to about 30, 40 members just by word of mouth, and same way anybody kind of builds a membership base, whether they're starting at a park or their garage. We kind of did the same thing, invested as little money as possible and built it grassroots style and
yeah.
offered out our services and our knowledge and information to help as many people as we could.
How strong do we want
We
it?
want strong coffee.
You want double dose?
Yeah, double dose.
You want shit your pants or squirt your pants?
Sauces, little no alcohol, mostly you just talk about sleep.
So what do you think 13.1 is going to be?
Dude, that guy, Dave Castro, who knows what is on his mind? But I'm sure it's already programmed. I'm sure it's getting ready. He's drooling to let it loose. But I don't know, man. I legitimately have no clue.
Yeah.
You know, people are throwing some different things out there. It might be a monostructural movement again.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not going to be as inclusive as last year, though.
If your colon gives you enough notice to make it to the toilet, then your coffee was not strong enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I go to do the daily BS, I automatically go to say technique wad,
Yeah.
and then I have to like
Welcome back to the technique BS.
yeah, right.
Welcome back to the daily technique.
All right, here we go.
The open is the first section and it's all inclusive. It's just work capacity. It's really just torturous Metcons. And then regionals is they've got to, you know, part the field and bring the true cream to the crop, which is going to be, you know, you're always going to have that long duration. You can almost predict the domains in a sense, but the movements will always be varied, but it's going to separate. You know, it's going to be a lot heavier, a lot stronger. And I feel like when you get to the games, it's obviously a reward, but it's a reward in the sense that it's just fun. Like, you put in all of this work all year long, and then you get to the games, and like, it's just such a loose environment. Like, up until 3, 2, 1, go, the guys are ready to go, but it's just such a cool environment. Those guys are, especially the veterans there, they make you, they definitely make you feel at home, and it can be intimidating in the sense if you've never been in that setting, but man, I love being out there just to be around those guys.
What are you making, Mike?
Bulletproof coffee. So the deal is my coffee has 1,000 calories and fat in it a day.
Coconut oil?
Coconut oil.
I don't know. I never did math.
And
Grass-fed butter, right?
Yep, Kerrygold.
And now cinnamon?
Cinnamon for flavor.
But look at that. That's a lot of high-quality fat.
Right in there, all fat.
Jesus.
Could you ever picture yourself, not in the sense like, oh man, I didn't make individual, but could you ever picture yourself wanting to do team? It looks pretty fun to me. Like,
dude, I was just talking about that with somebody today, and I would love to go team in a sense that the field is getting so competitive that a lot of people will maybe be shy, be kind of turned away from the open. But if there was a sense to where like I could help out a team get to the games or get to even regionals and have more of my members experience that, that's something that I'd totally be willing to do. You know, kind of put myself to the side and have these people, you know, actually have a chance to see what that's like.
yeah. Well, on top of that, I started thinking, you know, you go to the games X amount of times, like it just seems like it'd be fun to like create this like star-studded team and like go not to go up against lesser people, but to try to make that the sport. Yeah. It's like the best 5 dudes of this region versus the, you know, and it's like the all-star, kind of like
that's maybe what it turned into.
Like a team sport. Yeah.
That'd be cool to see like a bunch of gnarly dudes and chicks put together.
Yeah. Here's the real question: you trying the raw goat milk yet? Or?
Dude, the raw goat milk. My brother's a fan of the raw goat milk.
Is he?
Actually, no. He's a fan of the raw milk. But it's hard to come by down in Houston, isn't it? Like, isn't it illegal
in Tennessee? Yeah. Like you have to pretend it's for your pets or something.
That's crazy. I haven't, dude. I've always thought that I've had like a reaction to dairy, but I've seemed to eat a ton of dairy lately, and I haven't. I'm more of the latte with heavy cream. Double shot.
What kind of coffee man are you?
Dude, I used to not be coffee at all, but then I saw these dudes drinking it like legitimately every 2 hours. So I was like, let's try it out. And after the first day, it was like 2 days.
After a day of shit in your pants.
Right. After crapping myself. On the bathroom. But I like it just dark, dude. Dark with some coconut milk.
Yeah.
Throw that in.
You doing drip or French press?
Dude, I do the drip.
Do the drip. I hear you.
I do the drip. Mike would slap me in the face. It's so crazy.
So it emulsifies it into like a coffee salad dressing.
That's right.
It's okay. It's okay.
I've heard him talk about the French press. We do have a French press, and that is higher quality for sure. You can taste it. It's much better. But a little bit of black.
Well, you message us when you make the switch. We need to broadcast to the world.
Is it more work to do the French press?
Yeah, because you got to boil water and then let it cool.
Yeah.
It's worth it, you know.
I don't have a ton of time. I usually wake up at 4 and try and leave at like 4:20. So it's legitimately everything's set up. You just press the button.
Damn, dude.
And it
You need
drifts.
a tattoo that says "Forever Grind" on
Hey
the back.
man, I'm not trying to work that all the time.
Now, what's the point of bulletproof? What's the stick here?
Give us all shrug bugs, player. That's all I'm shooting for.
What is it supposed to do?
Give you rock hard boners. Give you veiny, rock hard, throbbing boners. That's what this coffee will do.
Do we have to drink it right now?
I'll give you a boner so hard you can't even touch your wiener. It just hurts too much.
I watched the show about that last night.